Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury has changed. Gone is the happy-go-lucky, let's go buy a model kit feeling of Season 1, only to be replaced by the dark, depressing nightmare fuel that is Season 2.
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
Powerful Nerdcast assembles!
Stay dandy, baby. So these episodes were pretty messed up, right? I was really excited to watch episodes 3 and 4 of Season 2 of The Witch from Mercury. I didn't have an opportunity to watch Season 3 last week because I was out on business, so I was really pumped up to sit down and watch these episodes back to back. It was going to be awesome. We were going to get some really great action, and then I just got these 2 episodes which managed to blow me away in a completely different way. That's not to say that there isn't some really awesome robot fighting madness, but there's also some really good storytelling going on here, and one that I thought was really surprising is it completely gets away from all of the main characters of the series and finally gives us a nice view of everything that's going on Earth. Spoiler warning, it sucks ass. So with that in mind, I'm going to be talking about episodes 3 and 4 of The Witch from Mercury today. I'm going to kind of blast through both of these because I just don't have a lot of time. I'm still very busy, but I had to talk about these episodes because really I thought they were really fantastic. Episode 3 in particular, which like I said, focused on all of the characters from Earth. A few new ones are introduced, a few classic ones return, and it ends up giving us a nice little look into what's really going on in the conflict between these two groups and how basically the Earth is pretty much just getting shit on, like Cleveland Steamer style, just big old piece of shit. After the Plant Keta event, Bennett Group is like, scorched earth, motherfucker. We're taking out the Earth. That's the way it's gonna be. And that's when Naji and all of his fellow soldiers decide we have got to get the fuck out of Dodge. And that's when they introduce this brand new character who goes by the name of Lieutenant Olcott, who's actually a former soldier from Cathedra. He was originally a part of Bennett Group, but there was some traumatic event which involved the death of his son, which caused him to defect over to the Dawn of Fold, and now he is fighting for their cause. The entire subplot about the death of his son is brought up a lot in this episode. They really want to just waterboard you with depression with this episode. And you know what? It actually does work. I know almost nothing of this character, but they managed to actually make me have sympathy and empathy for his cause in this episode in such a very small amount of time, especially with all the other characters they introduce. They do a good job of not even really giving us any background on them, but thrusting them into this conflict which makes us feel for them and their cause, because Earth just cannot catch a break. It's got a giant kick me sign on its ass and everybody just wants a piece of it. Oh, and to top it all off, we also get the grand return of the best character in the series, Guel Jeddirk. And Guel is pretty much the mayor of Strugglesville in this episode. He is just fucked. Still reeling over the death of his father and now being a captive of the Dawn of Fold, knowing that one wrong answer could potentially kill him, and he's still so incredibly loyal to his father. Guel is an interesting character. He's hard to read. I don't know what his full motive is going to be, but he is one of those characters who has a surprising amount of sympathy for just about anyone. And even in this episode with this big conflict between Bennett Group and the Dawn of Fold, even when he's being attacked and could potentially be killed by them, he still manages to save the young children who are basically being attacked by this group in this episode. Again, it just shows what kind of character he truly is, going as far as to actually stealing one of these mobile suits to make an escape and seeing that the kid dies anyway. And even after all that, even after that event, think about it. His father died, prisoner of war, witnessing child die in your arms, he still manages to puff out his chest, go back to the Bennett Group, meet up with his brother, and says, I'm taking over this bitch. So yeah, episode 3 is just kind of a massacre. It's basically just the Dawn of Fold getting completely wrecked by the Bennett Group. They try to fight back as much as they can, but there's not really much they can do. They manage to escape, but just barely. First off, I want to applaud this episode for managing to make me give a shit about these characters who are just newly introduced. I mean, we do get to see a few other classic moments and things. We get to see that Nika has been, of course, captured and getting the shit kicked out of her as well. We also get to learn a little bit more about Shaddiq's overall plan, which is essentially he wants to get things back into balance. He wants to take a lot of the resources and money which belong to the Bennett Group, and he wants to give them to the Earthians. He himself is half Earthian. There's probably something else going on here. You know, as much as Prospera looks like a Char clone, Shaddiq might actually be another one in disguise. We also get a nice juicy post-credit scene of Miorine getting to learn a little bit more about her mother and how instrumental she was in creating the Quiet Zero plan, which of course seems to bring her a little closer to wanting to realize it. But she's got questions, and those are going to come in the next episode of the series. But episode 3, man, this one right here just hit really hard, and it was really intense, and it was also scarily relevant. That's something that Gundam has always been. It's been a trademark of the entire series ever since its inception. I mean, it's a show about giant robots, but it also deals with a lot of real-world issues, and it always manages to be a big mirror of things which are actually going on in the world today. Not just in the conflict here between these groups, but I never even noticed it in the last episode, and maybe that's a problem in itself. Maybe I was so dense to it that that's actually a problem, but I didn't even realize that the last episode, when both Noria and Sophie attacked the Ostakasia school, that it was kind of a school shooting episode. And it's depressing because we're so desensitized to it because we're seeing that shit all the time that I didn't even piece together that that's kind of what they were going for in that episode. And again, it reminded me, especially along with this one right here, that yeah, the world is kind of a fucked up place. Episode 4 manages to take its time just a little bit more and finally gives us some interaction between Suletta and Miorine. As short as it is, I have been waiting for this ever since the end of the last season, and it did not disappoint. Although, there just wasn't enough of it. That's the only real thing. Maybe it did disappoint, just a little bit, just a skosh. But fuck all, it was really good to actually see, and very therapeutic, I do have to admit. Of course, the biggest thing about them seeing each other is that there's a lot of tension. You know, the whole thing with Suletta crushing somebody with her giant robot hand. Miorine tries to get some reassurance that maybe Suletta is not a psychopath. But after this episode, I don't know. I don't know if I want to call her a psychopath. I just know that she is being very manipulated by her mother. I mean, it's very obvious that her mother is one hell of a puppeteer, but she really does blindly believe everything that her mother tells her to do. If you gotta kill people, you just do it, and you don't even, show any emotion towards it. Really, that's what's so disturbing about Suletta. She just won't acknowledge the fact that killing someone has also got some really nasty repercussions behind it. It's not just about being heroic. I mean, that situation could have been handled a little differently. She did not need to fucking splat the dude. But again, it's her lack of emotion and incredible devotion to her mother, which definitely shocks Miorine to a point where she's just a little disturbed by it. So yeah, not quite the reunion I was hoping for, but one that feels a little more realistic. Speaking of Prospera's crazy kids, we also get a big confirmation about Aerial Gundam in this episode. Of course, we did learn that it is connected to the original Eric Samaya, and a lot of people have their theories about how this is actually going on. Apparently, her mind is quite literally just in the machine itself. There's like nothing really physical there, but still, this is the entire reason for why Prospera is doing what she's doing. She does officially reveal in this episode that with Quiet Zero, she will be able to quite literally bring her daughter back and allow her to live in a more physical space. We also get a great scene with Alon Saris as he has been commanded to take control of the Aerial Gundam, and he tries to get in the cockpit, but Eric just ends up sending his ass directly out in a scene that's honestly kind of creepy. It's also worth mentioning that the series is slowly shedding its school setting, with a lot of the students being pulled from the school, rightfully so, by their parents, some deciding that they're going to stay behind, with there being a lot of conflict between the Earth and space students. This combined with everybody sort of like having their very own storyline going on. I mean, there's the whole Suletta Miorine story, there's Guel Jeddirk, there's Shadik's plan, there's Prospera and her massive plan for Quiet Zero. There's a lot of cogs moving in this machine, and it's kind of hard to pinpoint where it's actually going to go from here. We have 8 episodes potentially for new material and things that could get wrapped up, but I just don't know what they're gonna do with it. I don't know what sort of direction it's going to go in, if this is going to be one of those big multi-layered conflicts that we've seen in some of the other classic Gundam series, and yet the series could still do something different. It doesn't need to be some massive conflict. It could be a little more grounded with everything that we're actually seeing here. It's not to downplay the things that are going on Earth, but it seems like if they're going to wrap things up pretty soon, it can't get much bigger than this, and if they do want it to go larger, well, they're gonna need more material. And I, for one, want more of that. The Witch from Mercury has been a pleasant surprise from beginning to end, and seeing its continuous evolution and change of styles and storytelling and introduction of new characters has honestly been very good. I mean, this is a character story first, and a giant robots beating the shit out of each other story second. And sometimes that can backfire. But here, there's just this perfect marriage of all of those things that really do work. It's an encapsulation of everything that makes Gundam pretty damn good. Whew! I probably missed some stuff, but that's just the way it is. What I will say is that I really did like both of these episodes. I'd go as far as to say episode 3 is a 5 out of 5 for me. I just really got a lot of enjoyment out of it. Despite how really messed up it really was, that's what I loved about it. It did not hold back. Things are officially serious in this episode. Let us know that. That's not to downplay the previous episodes, but still, shit has officially gotten real. And episode 4 is doing a good job of putting our characters in the hot seat. We're getting ready to see where they're going to be going next, and it's going to lead into the next conflict of the series. I don't know what it is. I'm just excited, guys. I'm excited to be a Gundam fan, and I hope you guys are too. And I'd really love to hear your thoughts on these episodes and where you hope the rest of Season 2 is going to go from here. There's just a lot of potential for these characters and the growth and changes that they can go through. And do you think they can wrap it up in this season? Do you want there to actually be more from the future? Let's talk all about it. Comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you all next time. And as always, stay dandy, baby.